Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really cool piece of Japanese tech. Get this, it started out just trying to keep veggies from going bad on cargo ships. But now it's being sold to Japan's super rich with this incredible promise to do basically the same thing for the human body.
So let's just get right into it. Take a look at this thing. It looks like a mat, right? But this simple-looking mat costs around 396,000 yen. That's well over $2,500. And it's being snapped up by Japan's wealthiest people. So the big question is, why? Why on earth are they buying it? Well, the answer really gets down to what these folks value more than anything else: their health and their time.
You know, a lot of the credibility here comes from the absolute heavyweights who are backing it. I mean, we're talking about Itochu, one of Japan's biggest trading corporations, and the financial giant SBI Holdings. And there's a great story here. SBI's chairman apparently invested his own money after his mom, who's in her 90s, saw her health just turn around after using the mat. It's even being pushed by private banks to their top-tier clients. And it all boils down to this really simple but powerful idea. For a top executive, getting sick isn't just a personal problem. It's a massive risk to the business. Okay, so part one, from fresh fish to humans. And honestly, this is where the story gets really, really interesting. Because this high-tech health gadget, it wasn't dreamed up in some pristine medical lab or a fancy startup incubator. Nope, its journey started somewhere you would never, ever expect, out on the open ocean.
So Itochu had this very real-world problem on their cargo ships. Imagine being a sailor. You'd run out of fresh food in like 2 weeks. Bummer. But then they installed DENBA in the storage rooms, and suddenly fruits and veggies were staying fresh for over a month. The difference was just night and day. We're talking about a head of cabbage that would normally be a sad, wilted mess after 15 days. Now it was still crisp. So at its heart, this whole thing was born from a simple need. How do we stop things from rotting?
Okay, next up, the science of the field. So here's the million-dollar question, right? How in the world does a technology that keeps lettuce from wilting have anything to do with the human body? Well, let's get into the science and see how they make that leap. All right, so the core of this whole thing is a patented system that creates this unique electric field. It's an ultra-low frequency, actually the same 50 to 60 hertz you get from your wall outlets at home, and it creates this invisible field in the space around the mat. And the whole point of that field is to make water molecules, well, vibrate. Okay, and this is super important. The company goes to great lengths to say what this is not. This is not like the electromagnetic waves from your phone or your microwave that people get concerned about. The DENBA field is different. It doesn't have a plus or minus polarity, which means it doesn't create a magnetic field. It's a totally different ballgame, designed to work on a whole other principle. So what's the big connection to us? It all comes down to this one number, 70%. Just like that cabbage we were talking about, our bodies, they're about 70% water. So the whole idea behind DENBA is, if you can gently vibrate all those water molecules inside your body, you can create this kind of total conditioning effect, right from the inside out. All right, section 3, evidence from the experts. Now, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds, well, a little out there, right? Super ambitious. And the company knew that. They knew it might come across as suspicious. So to prove it wasn't just smoke and mirrors, they went straight to Japan's top universities to get some cold, hard data. And what they found, the single most important piece of evidence they got, has to do with something called the autonomic nervous system, or ANS. You can think of the ANS as your body's autopilot. It's the master control system that runs everything in the background without you even thinking about it. You know, your heartbeat, your breathing, digestion, all that good stuff. So check this out. They did a study with the University of Tokyo, one of the best in the world, and they found something huge. Just being in the DENBA field led to a statistically significant jump in the activity of the entire autonomic nervous system. That means both sides of the coin, the fight or flight part that gets you revved up, and the rest and digest part that calms you down. Okay, that sounds pretty technical and impressive, but what does it actually do for you? Like, what does having a more active nervous system even mean in real life? The researchers came up with a great analogy for this. Think of a spinning top. When it's spinning really fast, it's super stable, right? A little nudge won't knock it over. A more active ANS is kind of like that for your body. It helps you switch gears more smoothly, so you can fire up for the day and then properly wind down for sleep. And the reported benefits are things you'd actually feel. falling asleep easier, waking up feeling more rested, and maybe, just maybe, even slowing down that natural decline that happens as we get older.
Okay, next section. Who's really using it? So we've got big companies on board, we've got university research, but what happens when the rubber meets the road? Who's actually plugging this thing in and using it?
Well, things really blew up for them after they were featured on this huge Japanese business TV show, Gachiri Monday. The public reaction was just insane, totally overwhelming. They sold out their entire stock, 2,000 of these mats in 1 month flat. It was pretty clear they'd struck a nerve. There was this massive hidden demand for this kind of thing.
And it's not just a flash in the pan from a TV show. The real-world stories are pretty amazing. You've got Aepa Hotels, a big chain in Japan, offering DENBA rooms. People pay a little extra, and these rooms are almost always booked by guests who swear they sleep better. And then there are the athletes. It's become like a secret weapon for the pros. We're talking an Olympic athlete who says it helped him recover from a career-threatening injury way faster than expected. Entire pro baseball and basketball teams are using it too? Okay, last section. Closing the health span gap. And this right here is the most important part. Because DENBA isn't just being marketed as some fancy massager or a high-tech sleep mask. No, it's being framed as a potential solution to a huge modern-day problem that affects all of us.
So in Japan, and really in a lot of the world, there's this growing gap between two things: your lifespan, how long you live, and your health span, how many of those years you're actually healthy and active. See the problem? We're living longer, but a lot of those extra years are spent dealing with illness. Right now in Japan, that gap is about 10 years. 10 years where you're alive, but maybe not living the life you want. And this is where DENBA MB comes in. It's being sold as a technology that could help close that 10-year gap. And that really leaves us with a big, provocative question, doesn't it? As we see more technology like this, maybe the whole goal will change. Maybe it stops being about just adding more years to our life and starts being about adding more life to our years. Not just living longer, but living better.